Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here again. And we're blessed to have Dr. Hardt with us. Dr. Hardt, thanks for joining us.
It's my great pleasure. I always love talking with you, Doug.
I do as well. I always learn so much. So, Dr. Hardt, what I thought we'd talk about today is obviously Biocybernaut has several different levels of training, one of them being Alpha Brainwave Training. And I know there's 24 different levels that somebody can actually participate in. What's the difference, though, between Biocybernaut training and actually just doing meditation on your own?
Well, I've actually written a paper on this. I haven't published it yet, but it compares meditation and the Biocybernaut training within a signal-to-noise metaphor. In simple ways to understand it, Biocybernaut training is advanced meditation with feedback. And as any parent or teacher knows, when somebody's beginning a process of learning, whether it's learning how to ride a bike or how to read or how to meditate, almost everything you do at first is wrong. And so you need feedback. Now, with a bike, if you do the wrong thing, you fall over. So you get immediate feedback and you learn what not to do. But with meditation, you don't get much feedback until 10 or 20 or 30 years in. And if you've persisted and been lucky enough to do and stop doing the right things, then you will get all kinds of feedback. You'll have celestial sounds and smells and fabulous experiences in consciousness. But that only occurs after you become advanced. And there's very little feedback in meditation. And like I said, any teacher or parent knows that you need the most feedback when you're beginning. And that's why Biocybernaut is the equivalent of 21 to 40 years of Zen meditation compressed into a week. We know that from studies done in Japan, where they saw what the brainwaves were beginning, intermediate, and advanced Zen. And the advanced Zen, in that study by Kasamatsu and Harai, nobody was rated advanced who had less than 21 years of Zen meditative practice. Very strict, very disciplined. Well, that pattern is produced by our trainees, given the feedback that we give them and the coaching in just 7 days. So compressing 21 to 40 years of meditation practice into 7 days, there's got to be something going on, and that something is the feedback. And so I said signal to noise metaphor. There is a subtle signal in your brain produced by pacemaker cells in the thalamus that generate the alpha. These pacemaker cells run 24/7. You can be awake, you can be sleeping, you can be eating, you can be making love, you can be reading. The pacemaker cells are running, urging your brain. But what Shakespeare might call the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune often get in the way and prevent those alpha waves from coordinating and synchronizing and reaching the surface. And so in meditation, you just have to persist without much feedback. But in the alpha training, we reach in and we detect that subtle signal, which is just a few millionths of a volt, and we amplify it 100,000 times, turn it into beautiful musical tones, and present it back to you. So you know moment by moment what your alpha waves are doing. And let's say your alpha waves start to increase, and then the thought goes through your mind as the tone gets louder. Gee, I'm doing pretty good. Well, that conceptualization catches you and pulls you down. And so you learn not to do that. There's also the issue of ego. And so if you go, gee, I'm doing pretty good, that'll pull you down more than if you have the non-egoic thought, gee, he's doing pretty good. Or if it's a woman, gee, she's doing pretty good. It'll still pull you down a little bit because it's a conceptualization rather than empty mind, but it's got less ego in it. And so you learn these things very, very quickly with the feedback. Something that might take 10 years, 20 years to learn in meditation, because the feedback is continuous, you learn very quickly. At one point, I had the privilege of training a Zen master, Ruho Yamada Roshi. He had a big temple in Japan, 150 students. He came to my then California center. At the end of the training, he said in broken English, Biocybernaut better than having own Zen master. And I go, Ruho, you're a Zen master. How can you say that? He goes, listen, if you have Zen master, master busy, many students. You sit, you meditate, you have attainment, master busy, not notice. Next day, master, see you different, give you feedback, one eyebrow go up little. All feedback you get from Zen Master. At Biocybernaut, feedback all the time. And then he repeated, Biocybernaut better than having owned Zen Master.
Oh, beautiful.
From the mouth of Ryuho Yamada Roshi.
Wow. And Dr. Hardt, if I'm not mistaken, having the advantage of knowing so many people personally that have gone through the training, isn't it common for people to say that, hey, I've been meditating for so long and I just don't know if it works. And then they get through the feedback, they find out that they may or may not have been, well, I don't want to use the word wasting time, but not using it as effectively as they could have.
Absolutely. And I have one of the classic stories there was I worked with Suzuki Roshi and measured his meditation brainwaves and 30 of his monks. There was one monk who he rated as a beginner who had 10 years of deep, intense meditative practice, twice a day, every day, for 10 years. And he was still rated a beginner. Well, when I saw his brainwaves, I saw why. He had a little bit of alpha in his eyes closed baseline, but as soon as he started meditating, what little alpha he had went away. It's called trying. And we all know how trying sabotages your performance in everything, including meditation. And so sometimes people find that what they were doing was entirely wrong. And other times people find how to improve on some skill that they have already partially developed. And, you know, in Tibetan Buddhism, there's over 150 attainment levels. And so the fact that in Biocybernaut, we have 24 levels of alpha training and 24 levels of theta training and 18 levels of delta training suggests that we are, in fact, helping people to move toward higher consciousness.
Well, absolutely. And from my background as an advisor to some of the most successful people in the world, one thing I always talk about is opportunity cost, right? If you're going to meditate for 30 minutes to an hour every day, you want to make sure you're doing it right. And without having your own Zen master in your living room, it's really worthwhile finding out and tuning. And that was one of the things that I got out of my Alpha 1 as a regular meditator, going in there and getting the feedback. I think it was you that said, hey, Doug, why don't you just try meditating, try different things? And I was astonished because I've done all kinds of meditation and trained with some very prominent people with meditation. But again, you don't get the feedback that you get within the chambers at Biocybernaut.
Absolutely. And I have a personal story to carry that a little further. I started the Yogananda meditative practice shortly after I had my breakthrough experience in Joe Kamiya's lab with brainwave feedback training. And I did 5 years of very intense meditation. I was initiated into Kriya Yoga by one of Yogananda's direct disciples, Swami Kriyananda. And at one point after that, I decided to do a meditation retreat in my own home. My home in San Francisco had a meditation room set up. And so now the meditation that I did in the Yogananda tradition was aided significantly by the brainwave feedback that I had continuous access to. So I'm not saying that, a person would have that level of development if all they did was meditation. So, okay, I'm going to do a 1-month meditation retreat. 2 3-hour sittings per day, full lotus, 6 hours a day in the full lotus. And for a month. And there were changes. There were changes in my consciousness. But because I had the reference of the Biocybernaut training, that advanced meditation retreat, 6 hours of meditation a day for 30 days, was the equivalent, I felt, of maybe 5 days in a Biocybernaut tune-up where I did maybe 90 minutes of alpha a day. And so opportunity cost. At that time, I stopped my regular daily practice of meditation, because I realized that I could make more progress by doing a 5-day tune-up here and there than by dedicating 6 hours a day to meditation. And of course, it took several months for my knees to recover from spending 6 hours a day in the full lotus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. And, the fact and the idea of using technology, which just makes so much sense to be able to monitor all the things that we're trying to achieve and the outcomes that we're going for to enhance our practice, but also to enhance our lives.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Hardt, thank you so much again for being here and for all that you do for everybody around the world. It's truly, truly a blessing. Thank you.
And thank you for your help in making it possible.
Absolutely. I'm honored.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tony Robbins. Listen, if you are looking to improve your brain, your psyche, your ability, your emotions, your ability to really maximize your performance, and you want to really dig into your brain, my dear friend Dr. Jim Hardt and his Biocybernaut program is extraordinary. I've been through it myself. My wife Sage has, members of my family have, and we found it to be truly extraordinary. But it is not for the faint at heart. Unless you're dead serious about really taking things to the next level, don't bother. We went through the Alpha program designed to maximize your ability to create alpha waves. And it was challenging and it was incredibly rewarding. And I'd recommend it to anybody serious about improving the quality of their lives or including the quality of their family lives as well. So check out Cybernaut, check out Dr. Jim Hardt. And if you do, I think you'll be really, really pleased. And the entire time you are learning to think and how you think these electrodes create sounds. And you learn how to put yourself in the zone of alpha. But it's a bitch. It's horrible. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that wants easy experiences, but I'd recommend it to anybody that wants to grow immensely. And by the first day, I'm like, who do I got to shoot to get out of this thing? Oh, it's me. I'm the one that did this shit. Right? But by the end of the week, all three of us were able to go into this state of alpha. And if you're familiar with alpha, the best way I can describe alpha is there's no problem that can't be solved in alpha. Because every problem that we have was created by us.
Thank you for being here and absorbing this information about the science of brainwaves and about the stories of people whose lives have been beneficially altered, improved by doing brainwave training at Biocybernaut. And now I'm reaching out to you to invite you to come and be a part of the Biocybernaut adventure. Biocybernauts are to inner space what astronauts are to outer space. So come and adventure with us. And if you'd like to leave a comment on the videos, you can do that, or there's a link you can click if you'd like to learn more. We welcome you to Biocybernaut.